In this chapter, we'll take a look at some of the new features and techniques involving color in CSS3. The CSS Color module Level 3 is one of the more polished CSS3 modules, and at the time of this recording, is about to enter proposed recommendation status. What that means, more than anything else, is that implementation is rather far along, and most of what you'll see in this chapter is ready to use right now. In this movie, I want to give you a brief overview of how color works in CSS, and then take a more detailed look at the new color formats available to us in CSS3. How we apply color really hasn't changed from CSS2 to CSS3. We can still define color as part of the foreground, background, and border properties of an element. Foreground colors are defined using the color property, which is defined in the color module. The Level 3 module introduces the new opacity property, which allows you to specify the transparency of an element. And we're going to take a closer look at the opacity property a little bit later on. Now, in the past, if you've specified color in CSS, chances are you've used hexadecimal notation or a color keyword. Defining colors using RGB values was available to us in CSS2, but due to uneven support early on, few people actually used it. All of these are still valid ways of defining color in CSS3. In fact, the SVG 1.0 color keyword names have been added to the module, giving you about, say 160 color keywords all total to use, including, and I'm not making this up, Dodger Blue. If you want to see a complete list of these keywords, along with their hexadecimal and RGB color breakdowns, check out the specification. Okay, so how you add an A to the actual declaration itself. So RGBA or HSLA, very, very important. Now, you may have heard that CMYK is available in CSS3, and it is. It's just not part of the color module. CMYK is defined in the generated content for paged media specification. Sounds fun, right? And is generally intended for print, not web. CMYK values are passed as comma-separated values as well, with 0 to 1 and decimals indicating the desired percentage values. Now, current support for the new color module in syntax is generally good, but take notice of the lack of support in Internet Explorer. This is especially problematic when dealing with alpha, as we'll see a little bit later on. Now that we've gone over a brief overview of color in CSS and the new color formats available to us, we'll begin to explore those in more detail in our next movie as we discuss defining transparency for elements in CSS3.